And to continue that thought, here's something else that determines a leader's legacy: how he or she behaves in times of crises. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison risks being remembered as the man who was ready to risk the lives of children. Australia is battling a supply chain crisis. Scott Morrison is determined to do all that he can to help his country tide over the problem. He's proposed that children as young as 16 be allowed to drive forklifts. Some are calling the Prime Minister's proposal madness. Others say it's unpalatable. Here's a report.
How far can you go to tackle the supply chain crisis? Australia is ready to put young lives at risk. The country is running out of vegetables. There's shortage of pork. Supermarket shelves are empty and stocks are low. Much of this is because of a worker shortage. There just aren't enough workers to ferry the goods from farms, or to load and unload them at warehouses, or to transport goods to the retailers, or put the packets on supermarket shelves. The Omicron wave has caused a staffing crisis in Australia. Prime Minister Scott Morrison is determined to tide his country over. He has a proposal. He wants children to drive forklifts. What are forklifts, you ask? These machines are on your screen. You must have seen them at supermarkets or dockyards or warehouses. Forklifts are used for heavy-duty lifting. Usually they load and offload goods. Operating one of these is no cakewalk. In Australia, a forklift driver needs to undergo training, after which he must pass a test. But first and foremost, he must be 18. Morrison wants to lower that age to 16. His voters are unhappy. States aren't convinced. Some have disagreed with the Prime Minister, and as for unions, they are very angry. Liam O'Brien is the Assistant Secretary of the Australian Council of Trade Unions. Look at what he wrote. Forklifts are dangerous. They, along with other high-risk mobile plant, account for 1 in 6 workplace deaths. This is madness. Here's another Aussie saying, as a former warehouse worker, I'm truly baffled by Morrison's forklift announcement. I've known adults who were dangerous behind the wheel of a forkie, let alone young people. Forklifts are tricky machines. One miscalculated move and they overturn. One wrong turn and they can injure the people around. Yes, just like cars, but worse. Forklifts are sometimes 3 times heavier than a car. Also, they only have brakes in the front, which makes it harder to stop a forklift. And such is their design that the load often obstructs the driver's view. Basically, it screams danger. Morrison seems to have realized this. Reports say that he's retracted the proposal. The issue of a 16-year-old forklift driver is not something we believe we should be pursuing. But the Australian Prime Minister is not done. He is now putting all his weight behind some equally controversial measures. Recognizing truck licenses from New Zealand, for example, or dropping a requirement for daily rapid antigen testing for workers. How far will Morrison go to tackle the supply chain crisis? We will keep you posted. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.